Guys, welcome to Better Bachelor. My name is Joker with a face for radio and a voice for print. Well, it wouldn't be 2025 unless a former spicy movie star didn't go viral for telling men how to actually get attraction from women. This from a woman who loved, well, maybe love's the wrong word, was intimate with hundreds, maybe even thousands of men for money, and now she's going to tell you how to keep men. She went very viral today on X, and she did an interview over on the Trigonometry podcast. I like Trigonometry. I think those British gentlemen do some very interesting interviews. And here they interview a Candace Horbaz, who has her own podcast after leaving the spicy industry. Why anyone would listen to her, I don't know. But I'm going to give you a quick synopsis, and then I'll tell you what this is all about, because it really boils down to this. There's a big lie that women have told men for decades and decades and decades. It's they want a man to make them feel safe, and he's tender, and he's sweet, and he shows that he's affectionate, and he puts her needs above his. And I know a lot of you guys are thinking to yourselves, well, I've done that, and then she cheated on me, or she left me, or she said I was boring, or she started banging some guy down at the gym, or it's always something. When you do a web search of why do women like nice guys, well, it turns out they don't. So why do they keep telling us this lie? Well, it's because they're looking for two types of men. There's the men they're attracted to, the men they want to sleep with, the men they want to procreate with, the ones they want to give their body to, and the nice, subservient, sweet man that will dote on their every need and take care of them and make them feel safe and secure and loving, while that weak man raises the babies from another father, usually the bad guy. Before we get started, a word from our sponsor, Comes Chocolate. We're going to discuss a topic that's been bothering all of us for a while, the relentless attack on masculinity and the feminization of men. Well, we're bombarded by estrogenic chemicals from plastics, junk food, and sedentary lifestyles. The mainstream media loves to demonize normal heterosexual masculine man and calling them toxic. They promote homosexuality and non-masculine behavior while censoring voices like Jordan Peterson and Andrew Tate from social platforms. Testosterone levels have been declining for decades. As a result, young men, particularly those under 30, are reported having significantly less sex than previous generations, and nearly 1 in 3 men in the United States report having no sex at all. But don't worry, there's hope. Comes Chocolate combines 2 of the most potent natural testosterone boosters in the market, Tanga Ali, which is an ancient, potent natural herb that has been used for thousands of years to increase testosterone levels, improve libido, and reduce stress levels, and horny goatweed, which is commonly used as a natural remedy for enhancing sexual desire, improving erectile function, and supporting overall sexual health. Additionally, it includes L-arginine, which aids in increasing blood flow and improving sexual function. Guys, this chocolate is a great way of supercharging your bedroom game and boosting your T levels all at the same time. Also, which you get to eat chocolate at the same time, which is kind of awesome. It's also a huge plus that it's tailored chocolate for the ladies as well, making it perfect for a date or movie night. They've recently sent me a box. I look forward to trying this. It's supposed to be boosting my energy levels, strength, stamina, and the bedroom confidence. I will be testing out as soon as she's back from her travels. I will be testing it out with her, and I'll keep you posted and let you know how that turns out. Don't worry, it won't be too much information. Don't forget, by supporting my sponsors, you support me directly. Hurry and take advantage of this amazing 48-hour promo and support me alongside this amazing brand. It's Comes Chocolate. Links are down below. Make sure to check it out. And now back to me. Anyway, they say there's few commentators with Candace's background under the pseudonym Eva Lovia. Candace entered the world of the spicy world back in 2011. So here we are 14 years later. She's aged out, and all of a sudden now she's going to give dating advice and do podcasts. Isn't it great when that's the type of person we're listening to in the world? Last time we had Candace on the show, she spoke candidly about her experience in this type of movie industry and whether she felt the industry had exploited her. It was a poignant, fascinating look into different subjects. This time he wanted to widen the scope. Do we have the right attitude towards the bedroom, and is it healthy, and all this other stuff? And here's what I find confusing. She spoke candidly about her experience in this type of movies and whether she felt the industry had exploited her. I don't know if she says, because I'm not going to listen to this because I have better things to do with my life, like watching paint dry. But why does it come up that, these industries always exploit the women? They do that to themselves. Here's something that is so fascinating. Hey, would you like to take off your clothes and do stuff on camera for money? No, thank you. There you go. If you say yes, and then you get taken advantage of, is it really the industry's fault? Or is it once again women not taking accountability for their own decisions and actions? We'll listen to the video, and then and I'm going to pause it a few times because, of course, I got to talk over it because that's my job.
You talk about something very interesting, which is all-day foreplay.
Yes.
Talk to us about that.
It goes back to the responsive desire versus spontaneous. I'm sure you guys can walk in the kitchen and you see your lady and you're like, yes, like she's wearing sweatpants and you're just immediately ready to go. Women, a lot of us have very sensitive breaks, like the birds starts chirping, the garbage can
It's a man's worst nightmare. It's like a car drove past, that's it, it's over. It's like, why? What happened?
So women, in order to feel safe, it's all...
Okay, let me pause it here and then we'll move on. In my youth, I know of times I was out at the bar, out at the pub, and I had a very good-looking British friend of mine. His name was Ed. He now lives in California. I don't think he watches my content, but hello to Ed in California. We haven't spoken in many, many years, and the last time we hung out was probably now 30 years ago. Ed was very charming, and Ed would go into bars, and he would speak with his very lilting British accent, and he would sound very British and eloquent, and he was a lady charmer. He's had sex in bathrooms at bars. He's taken girls out to the parking lot and banged them in the backseat of his... And I know because I was at the bar with him, and I watched him go out the door with these women or go into the bathroom with these women, and he had his way, and then they came out, and they just kind of and straightened up their clothes and went on. If a woman can go into a restroom with a guy and let him have his way with her, or if a woman will do it in the backseat of a car... I know many of you guys, especially those that are a little bit of players, many of you guys have stories that are very similar where we went to a house party and then we dipped out and we did this and came. If a woman can take a risk and cheat on her husband with another guy at a party in a different room, which has happened, if women can go through all these hoops to be with a guy, why is it all of a sudden she says, oh, well, if a garbage can or the garbage truck comes by or there's a bird chirping or any like that, it gets me out of the mood? It's because she's not in the mood to begin with. That she needs all these constraints and all these things to magically line up to be in the mood. So for you guys out there, and I've been in relationships like this, you know how it is, where it's, okay, well, she's never in the mood. I'll take her out to a romantic dinner and we'll do all these things and everything's great. And you do it and she's still not in the mood, or she tells you to hurry up because she wants to watch America's Most Wanted or something or other. It's over. The relationship, at least as far as the romantic part of the relationship, it's over. Now, she may love you as a person. She may love spending time with you. She may want to hang out and talk to you. But as far as the excitement and the desire to sleep with you, that's gone. And here is a woman that has literally slept with hundreds, if not thousands of dudes, telling you, well, if the bird's chirping or whatever, I'm not in the mood, I don't want to do it. Yet this same woman at one point in her life, back starting in 2011, would walk into a room, be introduced to a guy, they'd probably forget each other's names, she slaps on some slippery stuff so he can at least get in when she's not excited, and they go to town and she's acting it up and she's all excited. Yeah, granted, it's an act, but the guy doesn't necessarily know that. You, the viewer, doesn't know that. You assume she's enjoying it. That's the purpose. So when a guy wants to be with his woman, he'd like to at least believe she thinks it's enjoyable. So that tells you one of two things. Number one, her being with these muscular, athletic guys and sleeping with them, either that was all an act and she is a broken human being and an actress, obviously, or she really did want to sleep with those guys and she was lucky enough to get paid for it. And now anything knocks her out of the mood because the guy's sweet and nice and whatever. It's always the same story. It's always the same. And now she's going to tell you, well, just be nice and sweet and cater to her every need, and then maybe she'll want you. The greatest lie ever told.
It's over. It's like, why? What happened?
So women, in order to feel safe, it's all of these little touch points throughout the day. So what you think is her nagging, that sock on the floor, you not taking out the trash. If you said you were going to go get milk and you didn't, well, these in the modern era are versions of you not being reliable and not being a safe partner. So if you're not doing this, element of safety is out the door. Right now, you're creating a lot of stress for her. It's going to be impossible for her to relax and be present with you, which is required for her to have arousal.
That's a lie. See, again, women lying to you. Again, let's go back to the references that I've stated. I know many of you guys, especially the older ones, when things got a little bit more buck wild in the bars and the clubs and the house parties, because not many people have house parties anymore. Everybody just meets on a dating app and then hooks up. Back in the day, again, I know house parties, and I know some of you older guys out there like, oh, I went to house parties. Dude, you wouldn't believe what some of these women would do. People would have to be using the bathroom, and they're pounding on the door to try to get in and use the only 1 or 2 bathrooms at a house party, and somebody's in there banging each other and having sex. So if she can get excited and aroused at a party with a bunch of people and step into a bathroom while people are banging on the door telling them to get out, and she's like, hurry, let's get this. Why? Why can she do that? Well, it's the danger. It's the excitement. It's the heat of the moment. She's all fired up and ready to go, and damn the consequences. We're going to do this. And here she's saying just the opposite. Oh, I need safety and security, and I need to feel in a safe place. That is a complete and utter lie. I don't know why women say this. Maybe they're separating the difference between this is a guy I'm physically, like animalistically attracted to, and I want to sleep with him so bad I can't stand it, and this is the man I want to love, who's safe and reliable, and he puts food on the table, and he's a good man. I mean, most men would like us to be both men. Most men say, well, I want her to be both. I want her to appreciate me for being a good man, but I also want her to desire me at all ends. And she can't control herself. That drives me wild. That's so hot to dudes, right? I think she's admitting something that many of us have found out. You can't be both to most women. You can't be both to most women. Now, there are some exceptions, yes, obviously. But most of the guys that meet both exceptions are someone he's very good looking, he's powerful, he has lots of opportunity, sometimes with other women, and usually he's not married. There's always that risk that he could say, you know what, this isn't working for me, I gotta go. You're not fulfilling my needs anymore. And with that sword of Damocles hanging over her head, she says, okay, I gotta be the right one for him, because I see other women checking him out. I know that at any moment he could go find somebody else. I need to make sure that this man is fully taken care of. But the minute you're married now, she has you. The two don't go together. So now she wants Mr. Manservant, and instead of meeting the animalistic side, she now wants you to meet the nice guy provider side.
It's the intimate touch. She wants to know that you're connected and that you're invested throughout the day. So it's little grazes, little kisses, little like eye gazes. How many times can you walk by your partner and not even look at or acknowledge them? If she talks, you respond. You know, just ignore her. All of these little things now kind of equate safety in modern era. So you want to make sure that you're spending like the 2 seconds it takes to just like, yes, babe, I heard what you said. Yes, I'm going to take out the trash. Like, do all of these things. And you will be so grateful you did it, because she will be relaxed and more receptive. So when the kids are in bed, everything is done and you're winding down, like she's in this place where she wants to engage with you.
It's complete crap. It's just complete crap. This is Rachel Wilson. You guys hear my opinion. You know my opinion on this stuff because I've said it over 1,000 times. I wanted to read Rachel Wilson. She's somebody that follows me on X, and I follow her. And she's a wife. She's a mom. She's not traditional conservative, she says in her bio, and she's the author of Occult Feminism, The Secret History of Women's Liberation. So she's an author as well. And I liked her summary of this. And so I want to read from a woman that actually understands what's going on. And then we'll talk about some of the responses. And then I'll read an article that was written that kind of sums up what many of us feel. This Rachel says it's bonkers to tell men that women's fleeting happiness moment to moment is completely dependent on them catering to her every whim. You end up with a population of anxious, neurotic, miserable women. This is not natural. It's not evo-psych. It's the result of a century of feminist propaganda. It's really freeing not to have every little tiny thing a man does or doesn't do send you into a tailspin. What a horrible way to live. She says, by the way, this is just my personal opinion, but I disagree with her. I don't want to expect my husband to take care of all the little details so I can feel safe. He takes care of the big things like being a protector and provider and a leader. The fact that he doesn't let me walk all over him is a turn on. I don't want to be the center of his universe and for his life to revolve around me. I don't want him to go to the grocery store or pick up the socks. I want him to say, who gives a shit about the groceries or the socks, and do things for me that make me forget about the socks. In other words, being romantic. These people have completely killed romance. She says, why do they all have to immediately start a podcast telling the rest of the world how to live the minute they quit the spicy industry? I think that's the part that irritates everybody. It feels so condescending. You just figured out how it's not a great lifestyle to sell your coochie on the internet 5 seconds ago. Now you're going to start preaching to everybody and life coaching us? Why don't you just have a seat and calm down for a minute? I think that is a beautiful rant by Rachel, and I think she has it right, because this is the argument that men have all the time. If you go out there and you do sweet things and nice things and go out of your way and put a woman as the center of your world, pretty soon she's going to start feeling like, I guess I'm the best he can have. There's no other women that want him. He's never going to leave me. I'm safe. I'm comfortable. And that's when hypergamy kicks in. That's when women start saying to themselves, well, maybe I've got him because he feels I'm the best that he could do. Maybe he's not that high value a man. Wherein a man that says, I'm not going to marry you. I'm not going to, there's certain things I'm not going to do. It's my way or the highway. You can be part of my life, but I've got a goal and a direction. And if she starts getting all weird and shitty and he's like, you know what, this isn't working for me, you got to go. Then she gets an understanding of, okay, I can't play mind games with him. He obviously knows he's high quality because he has other choices. And high quality men, even if they don't, and when I say high quality, I'm not talking about tall, dark, rich, handsome, all the other things. A guy that has his crap together knows, hey, you know what? If I do put effort into finding somebody else, I can. It doesn't mean I am right now. I'm happy the way things are. But if you start acting a fool, it doesn't mean I'll either choose to be alone or I'll choose to be with somebody else. And when a woman understands that and she believes it to her core, she then understands, you know what, he is a high value man and I need to appreciate him. And thus I must earn to keep him around. I must win him over constantly. And when she doesn't, he moves on. So somewhere along the line, I think women have split men into two. That you look at somebody, I'm trying to think of an actor that we could all picture in our heads. You picture the James Bonds, you picture Clint Eastwood, right, in the old Westerns, where he's the silent guy that's strong and powerful and fastest draw, or James Bond, who's clever and also dangerous, License to Kill. When you look at those men scored the women, those women know that those type of men aren't going to be their husbands or the father to their children, yet they navigated to them and slept with them. They didn't expect fatherhood and long-term relationships for them. And then when you look on TV today or in the movies and you see the father, the man that is married, that does have children, he's a buffoon. He's an idiot. The wife walks all over him and it's funny. And we're told to accept this. How did that trope come about? How did that TV series or that theme in TV's commercials? Because that's what women think men are. Women think, well, if I marry him and he's going to be kind and he's a sweet man, he's also probably a buffoon and easily manipulated. But the strong men can't be. Why don't they see that as the same individual? Because somewhere along the lines, they decided it's just not the same individual. I don't know why my watch is buzzing and going crazy. I apologize for that. So somewhere along the line, women split the two. So I'll ask you, would you like the guy to be the guy that gives her little kisses and grazes and picks up milk and makes sure to clean up your socks every day so that she will cuddle with you at night and maybe have a family with you? Or would you rather be the bad guy that's kind of like, nah, I'm going to do what I want, as I want, when I want, and when I'm in the mood, I'll give you a call and I'll smash, and then I'm going to go back to my life. And in the meantime, she's going to sit there probably thinking a lot about you and wondering if she can get you. I think most guys overall, they'd want to be the smash guy. Most guys don't get into relationships because they need a friend or they need a woman to help them out through their day, or they just need companionship. Most men get in relationships because they want to have sex, because they want romance. They want it from somebody that's safe, somebody that's predictable, somebody that appreciates them, and someday somebody that might become the mother of their children. But even given aside, that's the main reason. You take the bedroom out of a relationship, the men are gone. Conversely, you take the money and the what's the word I'm looking for? You take the money and the commitment away from a woman, they're not gone. I like Rich Cooper. I have nothing against Rich Cooper. But Rich Cooper says many times, you take the bedroom out of a relationship for men, men are no longer interested. You take the money and the status away from women, women are no longer interested. That's not always the case. It is in some. But in many of the cases, if the woman is attracted to the man because he's powerful, he's strong, he is independent, he's smart, he's wise, and most importantly, he's desired by other women, that's what when women want to stay around. A man might be able to keep his money, but if no one's interested in him anymore and they see him as a loser and they make fun of him, just look at the there was an interview on Joe Rogan many years ago, well, not many years, a couple years ago, where a woman was dating an MMA fighter and he got knocked out or he tapped out. And she said, right then, I got the ick. I knew it was over.
So he was a great boyfriend. During the fight, he almost gets knocked out. As this guy is mauling him, he goes like this.
Yeah, you didn't like it.
Fuck no.
Did it turn you off?
Oh my God, so much.
Was that the beginning of the end?
Yeah.
That was
and he
tap,
was
tap,
a
tap,
great
first couple of
boyfriend. He was
nails.
great.
Tap, 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 tap.
Yes, it was.
Tap, tap, tap.
It was.
Maybe sometimes it's like that's the problem. It's like the balance. The ones who are not going to be great boyfriends are the ones that are going to turn you on because they're ruthless.
Yeah.
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 MMA fighter. He's in good shape, good looking guy. He probably has money. He gets a little bit of money for fighting. And she lost it. Why? Because he lost power. He lost face. He wasn't desirable anymore because he lost. He was the loser. So when you understand that about women, you can listen to this and understand. I don't think she's intentionally lying. She's not trying to manipulate men, but she doesn't understand that she's describing a beta forever male that she wants to be with and not the man she desires or wants to sleep with. I just typed in here, why do women love criminals? And this is in Bing. It's not Brave, which I usually do because I do this specifically to see the tailored responses that Bing and Google and others give it. And if you type in, why do women love criminals? I'm just going to hit enter to refresh the page to show you that I didn't change the search term based on what you're seeing. And it says, why women love guys that end other people. I'm a psychiatrist. Here's why women fall in love with men that end other people. Convicted men and the women who love them. Why do women fall for serial enders? Experts explain why women fall in love with inmates. The art of manipulation, a psychologist, blah, 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 blah. Why do women fall in love with men that are in jail for terrible things? Why are some women attracted? Blah, blah, right? You get it. Page after page after page. All I did is I say, why do women love criminals? Now, if I change that to why do men love criminals? Convicted men and the women who love them. Serial lovers. Why women love murder, guys that end people. Why are women so interested in crime stories? Why do women fall in love? So even if I put in why do men fall in love with criminals, it's about the women that love the criminals. Why do women hate nice guys? 8 disturbingly common reasons. 13 reasons why girls never want nice guys. Real women don't want nice guys. No nice guys. No nice guys. No nice guys. Real reasons why women choose a-holes instead of nice guys. It's not just a stereotype because it's funny or it's a stereotype because it's true. And here's a woman that gave her best years. Where's my video here? And if you look at her, you say, hey, you know what? Okay, she started this, I don't know, when she was 25 or whatever, 10 years ago. Now she's probably in her 30s. The best years are behind her. And we always have this argument because I see your comments and there's many of you like, she's worn out. Okay, but for a 35-year-old, if you were just to see her walking down the street and didn't know her past, you'd probably say, yeah, I'd ask a woman like that out to coffee. Yeah, I'd get her number. Now, once you know her past, of course, you wouldn't touch her with a 20-foot pole that was wrapped in latex. But before that, what happened? She's given her best years away. She's burnt out her receptors for passion. She was basically turned out for money. And after doing that for so long, she doesn't have that mechanism that desires men anymore, that wants men anymore, that just wants to be animalistic with men. Or maybe she does, but it's few and far between. So what's left? Now she's looking for the father figure, the supporter role. How many women are like this today? I think a large, vast majority of them. Just for fun, this is a story by Paul Hudson. He says why girls never want nice guys and why it's too late when they do. He said, I used to be a nice guy way back when. Like most men, I learned rather quickly that being the nice guy wasn't the best of decisions. You see, I never saw being nice as a decision that needed to be made. I understood it as a state that naturally existed. I didn't feel that I should go out of my way to be nice because I like being nice. More than that, I thought that's what women wanted. Men who were nice. Boy, oh boy, was I wrong, sort of anyway. She may believe she wants a nice guy, but in reality, she doesn't want a nice guy. In her eyes, nice is weak. It's boring. She wants excitement. She wants mystery, surprise, drama. She wants a bad boy. Until she gets stuck with one, of course, and then all of a sudden logic swarms back into reality and bad once again means bad. Understanding why women go for those bad boys isn't difficult to understand. They aren't very open, keeping mostly to themselves. That's mysterious. They distance themselves and give the cold shoulder whenever they don't want something from you. It makes her ego go crazy. Why doesn't he want her? Why isn't she good enough? If he just got to know her better, he would surely fall for her. But the truth is that he wouldn't. Not because she isn't lovable, but because he isn't loving. He isn't looking for love because those who look for love quickly lose the whole bad boy flair. In essence, or the essence of a bad boy is isolation, carelessness, self-indulgence, selfishness, and attitude. When you put it this way, it's difficult to understand why it is that women go for these kind of guys. However, the role, the actions that result from such personality traits play on the psyches of women is undeniable. Bad boys seem more manly, which is an awful way to think it, as it teaches guys that being bad is more rewarding than being good. If being a bad boy gets you laid while being a nice guy gets you either ignored or harmed, then guess which type most men choose to be. I'm going to put a pin in that for a second. We've been talking about this. Women, if you watch the women on whatever podcast, you watch the women on Fresh and Fits, you watch any of these women that are being, now granted these women are workers, on Only Fools, or they're definitely not many of the women that we would probably want to be with, but they are women that are sleeping with a lot of guys. And if you think about the women that us older guys that you used to meet in the clubs and everything else, if the more that you told a woman you weren't interested, that you're not my type, I'm not really interested, but I appreciate it. The more you said that to a woman, the more opportunity you had with them. That's where the more modern term for it is negging, because it's give them a compliment, but it's also a little bit of an insult, make her wonder what's up. Back in my day, I guess you'd call it, say, the late 80s, early 90s, when we were in the dating world, the girls that you chased after didn't want you. The ones that you were genuinely not interested in for one reason or another, and you're like, nah, you're just not my type, right? But I appreciate it. And again, you're not an asshole to them, but you're just like, nah, you're not really my type. I'm not interested, but I appreciate it. Those girls would start jumping through hoops trying to earn your attention. It's been the same way since, all of my life, and I'm 50. I can't say it's been the same before that, but at least for the last 50 years, 40 years, women have always wanted the guys that didn't want them, that had their own thing going on. And the minute you put her on a pedestal and pay attention to her and say I'd do anything for us and I'll do anything for you to make sure that you're happy and you feel taken care of and loved, yawn, and out the door they go. This is, again, from 10 years ago. Nothing's changed, but again, women can't correct their stories because you don't ask a fish how to catch fish. You ask a fisherman. So when you want to know what women really want, ask a guy that's successful with them, and what are they going to tell you? I don't even care about them, dude. They just find me attractive. I throw them a couple pickup lines. We go hook up, and then I move on. And I do it over and over and over again. And if you want to ask the guys what didn't work for them and what made their life a living hell, most of them will say, I don't know. I'm totally confused. I was nice. I supported her dreams. I took her out to dinners. I paid off her college loan. I bought her a car. I did this, that. I don't know what happened, man. She just bailed after that, or she started. They don't realize that they were perceived as a nice guy and put her as the center of the world. Even if they didn't, she got that perception, and that's the problem. He says, I think every guy who ever started out as a good guy had their ass handed to them. I know I have. Every guy at one point was silly enough to think that being nice to women he has feelings for is a good idea. He would go out of his way to be nice. He would hold doors open for her. He would help her with simple tasks. He would smile and be courteous. If he took her on a date, then he might have even bought her flowers, paid for her meal, paid for her drinks, paid for the cab. But only until he realized that the girl had absolutely no interest in him. She liked the free food and the drinks, but not the guy who was paying for him. I believe nearly all women go through their bad boy phase, some early on, some much later. What ends up happening is being a lesson hard learned. No woman has ever lived happily ever after with a complete bad boy. Why? Well, because once bad boys settle down, they're no longer bad boys. They're nice guys. You need a nice guy to settle down with because that's the only type of guy who's willing to actually settle down. So the truth is, ladies, that you don't want a bad boy. You want to turn a bad boy into a nice guy. You want to change that reckless, untamed man, and you want to put a collar on him. You want to tame a beast because it makes you feel strong, makes you feel good about yourself. You did the undoable. There's also one other thing to this that he doesn't. She wants the bad boy all for herself. And so she works very hard to make the bad boy only hers, all to her own. But the problem is once she's done that, yeah, she did the undoable, but then she's unhappy because she doesn't like who the guy has become. He's now tamed. She wants the wild, I don't know, tiger. And when she captures it and puts it in a cage and makes it miserable, and eventually it just lays down and gives up, she doesn't want that tiger. That tiger's boring. She wants the one that made her feel danger and excitement, the one in the wild that could come and go, and glimpses of it were rare. Now she has a pet one and is boring. I think that's something else he didn't happen to mention in this. He said, by making your relationship a challenge, you're literally making it difficult to be with a person. You're creating space between you and the prize. Weird. So maybe it's the women who go after these bad boys don't actually want a relationship. They just want to enjoy the thrill of the chase. A pseudo relationship that is more flashy than anything else. Relationships require a great storyline, one with lots of drama and the constant of possibility of loss, like in the movies. Maybe we should put the blame on Hollywood. With time, all women come back from the dark side. They learn firsthand that bad boys are bad for them. They realize that being treated as if they're worthless and spending most of their time either alone or feeling alone isn't part of the relationship they now want to have. All the excitement turned into a migraine. All the drama turned into a painful memory. Now she wants a nice guy who'll love her, treat her with respect, and spend time with her because he wants to. Unfortunately for them, by the time they realize the mistakes they've made, there are only assholes such as myself left. And I think that is a good way to look at this. Many of you, if I were to ask you about your dating lives and your experiences, guys now pretty much fall into, I'd say, 2 or 3 camps, right? There's guys that have never dated. They've never had the opportunity. Either they're maybe conventionally unattractive, or they're awkward, or they're just not comfortable around women, or they just don't do well on the dating apps. And that's where most people meet. So they've never dated. So they're pretty unhappy with women and the situationships that are going on. Then you ask the other guys, the guys that are basically just sleeping around having all the fun. They're thrilled, but in many ways, they too are missing out because a lot of them probably would like to get married someday, like to have kids someday, but they're good looking enough and they're popular enough that they've seen the wives that cheat. They've seen the women that step out on their husbands. And now those guys, even though they've never been married and never directly been burned by a woman in a marriage cheating on them, those guys have seen what happens to the married men. They've seen their wives going out and cheating on them. I've seen many. You know, when I was in the military, you would see, I was a police officer in the military, and I worked at the gates, and we'd have to check IDs and make sure whoever's coming on the base was military, was a military member, or spouse or family member, and had the credentials. I can't tell you how many times there were women that would go out 2 or 3 times a week, going to the bars, going to the clubs. We knew they were military wives because it said it on their military ID, and they were coming in the base with strange guy after strange guy. We'd see these married women bringing these guys home while their men were out on deployment. Now, back in the day, it was kind of a running joke. The government, as much as they say, oh, infidelity and, you know, all this other stuff, they never went after the spouses. They didn't notify the husbands because half the base would probably be on notice. But we saw that. That was one of the things that started changing my mind about marriage. Now, of course, I thought I would choose a unicorn, someone that was different. Turns out I was just like every other guy on that military base because wives and girlfriends step out on you. But there's many of you that realize, hey, I've seen the dark side of what women can do. It didn't happen to me, but it happened to friends or it happened to other people I know, and therefore I'm not going to get married. And then there's the last group of guys. And I think these are the guys that maybe have it the roughest. The guys that had a passionate relationship in the beginning, they got married, they got the family, and now while they have children they love and maybe a wife they care about, the bedroom is dead. There's no more activity. They maybe, because 90% of men that subscribe to OnlyFools are married. Something's gone wrong and they just don't get anything in the bedroom anymore. And more than likely, either it is a dead bedroom or the wife is out having fun elsewhere and the guy's too worried to do the same, or maybe he doesn't know about it because he's afraid he's going to lose half his crap and access to his kids. And after all that happens, after men see this from now with the internet, the age of 15 and up, how many of those young guys or men do you think are going to not be assholes by the time they get to be late 20s or 30s? Yeah, there's still guys that think they're going to find the unicorn and give it a shot, but how many of them actually fail? It's a pretty large number. So in the end, what happens is women are literally training men to be bad boys, to not care. And if you look at the interviews and all the TikTok videos of people, man on the street type interviews, you quickly realize that women are saying, we don't need a man for a relationship. We certainly don't need them for babies because we're strong and independent, and I don't want any kids. So what are they using men for? They're using men for fun and nothing else. And when that's the market, that tells men, hey, be that bad guy. Be unresponsive. Don't care. Don't call back. Don't give her flowers. Just do your own thing and have fun with it while you can, and women will respond to that. And shockingly, they do. So as in all things, it's women, not men, that dictate the terms of the market. And right now, we got a fast food market where just get what you want while you can get it for the brief couple of minutes, and then after that, you move on. Guys, if you like my work, make sure to join me over at betterbachelor.locals.com. You can become a supporter today. 100% of your support keeps me independent. You can either give once, buy me a beer for $5 or something like that, or you can become a subscriber, do it monthly or yearly, support my work. It's a website that's basically got thousands of other dudes that have a good time. We hang out, we discuss issues like this video and other things like it. And we also have movie nights and sports nights where you can watch great movies and watch sports and hang out with the rest of us. And it is a good time. We'll be watching the Super Bowl come next weekend. And then after that, I don't know, we may pick some other sports. There's UFC fights, of course, that we watch as well. So come on over, become a supporter today. Join a great group of individuals. I think you'll love it. And we will see you guys in the next one.